Have you ever met someone who seemed almost perfect at first? Incredibly charming, charismatic, but over time, you start to get this creeping feeling that something is just off? That subtle sense that you're being played. Or that you have to walk on eggshells to keep the peace? If you've ever felt exhausted, confused, or just plain used in a relationship, whether with a partner, a co-worker, or a friend, you may have had a run-in with one of the Dark Triad personalities. Now, this isn't just about someone having a bad day or being difficult. We're talking about a very sketchy, thick and toxic cocktail of personality traits. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 3 of the most notorious personalities out there: Narcissism, Machiavellianism, and Psychopathy. We'll break down who they are, what makes them tick, and most importantly, how to spot them, knowing what you're up against is your first and best line of defense, because what you can see, you can navigate. Let's start with the most famous member of the triad, Narcissism. The name comes from the old Greek myth of Narcissus, a hunter so handsome he fell in love with his own reflection and wasted away admiring it. So, what is narcissism, really, at its heart? It's defined by a huge sense of self-importance and a bottomless need for admiration. People high in this trait see the world through a lens of me. Others aren't real people. They're just props for validation. They can be magnetic and charming. They use their looks or a bold personality to win you over, driven by a desperate hunger for applause. Underneath that shiny surface, though, is a deeply fragile ego. Narcissists are often masking a profound sense of inadequacy. This makes them incredibly sensitive to criticism. Any little disagreement can feel like a major threat to their grandiose self-image. They'll lie, deflect, or blame anyone else to protect that fragile self for them. Admitting fault is basically impossible. Next up, we have the master manipulator of the triad, Machiavellianism, named after Niccolo Machiavelli. That's the essence of Machiavellianism, a strategic, cynical, and calculated approach to life. They crave power, money, and control. They look at human relationships like a giant chessboard, where other people are just pawns to be positioned and moved. They're emotionally distant and operate with very low empathy. For them, manipulation isn't a moral problem. It's just a logical tool. Unlike the impulsive psychopath or the showy narcissist, the Machiavellian is patient. They'll bide their time, using flattery to build alliances. Chronic lying and unprincipled behavior are their trademarks. They don't get flustered or show guilt because, deep down, they just don't feel it. And that brings us to the third member, psychopathy. It refers to a set of traits defined by a lack of feeling, high impulsivity, and zero remorse. The core of a psychopath is an emotional void where empathy and connection should be. This coldness allows them to inflict harm without guilt. Individuals high in psychopathy are often marked by impulsivity and a thirst for thrills. Risk-takers, constantly chasing the rush like narcissists. They can be superficially charming. They are experts at faking empathy to get what they want. They have a consistent disregard for social norms. Lying is as natural as breathing. They're often called pathological liars. This blend of callousness, remorselessness, and impulsivity makes psychopathy the most volatile and destructive trait in the Dark Triad. Now, here's a key thing to remember. These traits don't exist in a vacuum. The Dark Triad is a constellation, and these personalities often overlap. The toxic thread tying them all together is a cold, manipulative way of dealing with people. All 3 are defined by exploitation. So how do you protect yourself first? And most importantly, trust patterns, not words, second. Set and enforce strong boundaries. People with these traits are experts at pushing limits. Third, stay skeptical and document things, especially at work. Keeping a record of conversations can be your shield. Finally, understand this: you cannot change them. The personality structure is deeply ingrained. By understanding the Dark Triad, you're no longer in the dark. You have a map to recognize these toxic behaviors. If this helped you, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.